This is unusual. 2 episodes in the space of a week. Now that I've finished my university projects for the semester, I have time to play in the server a lot more. Speaking of playing on the server, we have several projects we're going to be tackling today. One being the AutoClash arena, and another one being the storage room for our iron farm. So we just came out of the Nether and we've arrived at the AutoClash arena. As you can see, several of the plots have already been worked on, and our plot is right there. Now you might be asking, what actually is AutoClash? Well, AutoClash is essentially Hunger Games, but with our own unique spin on it. So basically what we've done is each of us who have claimed a section of the game have a certain part of the map that we need to develop. And this right here is my part. Yeah, I had planned on doing this a few weeks ago, but I didn't exactly have the time and my internet wasn't exactly up to standards. Looking at the section itself, I don't actually know what I want to do. So we've got this volcano here, this splash built, and I really like it. About this volcano, there are some underground passageways right here that we're going to be making use of, and then Alex came in and built this jungle themed area. Now I kind of want to make this section a transition between those two extremes, because yeah, those biomes are quite different. So what I'm thinking is we're probably going to go with some mountainous terrain in the style of the mountains we built at our base. So we'll have those around the region, and then towards the rear we'll have the mountains build up quite high so that we can incorporate this underground section. We'll then taper these mountains down until they reach the boundary, so this boundary should be nice and clean, and then we can tie in bits of this jungle into the overall plot design. So with that being said, let's jump into hyperspeed build mode and build our plot. So after a bit of work, our section is complete. I have to admit, I am quite happy with the way this is now looking. You might have noticed in the time lapse that we actually redid part of this hill several times, because I originally planned this out by building the top of it first, which was a mistake. It wasn't a good idea. So we planned the top of this hill out, and then we didn't like it, so obviously we started doing the terraforming at the sides to bring it down at that side, and then I did the terraforming here, and that's when I changed the height of this hill. I always knew we wanted a waterfall in it, and I knew we wanted to link the two bits of water down here together. So what I did is we've got the river here, we did the water section first, we filled it with water related things, and then we put in the waterfall. But there was still some other things we had to do. We couldn't just leave it like that, we had to make this area look good, hence why there's all these rocks, the long grass, and then the jungle biome seeping into this slice. My logic for this was quite simple. This area was a transition slice, meaning that we took the bits from these slices next to us and then incorporated it into something a bit more unique. Now going into this, I knew we couldn't have the jungle go right up towards the edge of the volcano, because that doesn't really make logical sense. So we needed some sort of natural boundary, hence why we have the river. My own headcanon for this is basically the jungle once extended beyond this river, but it's since been burned down and replaced with a grassland. And yeah, once again I went with my signature rocks, I did some bone meal in the grass, removed the flowers because the flowers didn't look all that good, and that's why this area is looking the way it is. Another thing about having this separated, these two unique biomes, is the way the game's going to be played. So basically we're going to be spawning here, right around here. You can see this ring, this is the spawn location, and what I want players to run over into our section. But I didn't want it to be easy, so we've got two ways. We've got a easy way, so you can just jump over this water and then run straight up the hill, and maybe find a hiding spot or whatever, start roaming the map. And then you've got this way, which is harder to get through because of all the bamboo and all the other foliage. Now, the thing is, if you go up this way, it basically means that you'll be spotted the entire way, because you'll be able to be seen from across the map, which isn't exactly ideal, but you will have speed on your side. Whereas if you're going this way, you'll need to duck in and out of these bamboo shoots along with these bushes, and it'll make it a lot harder to spot, but it will also take a lot longer. Also at this side, I made sure to taper this hill down in just a way so that you can get up it, and it still looks decent, but not to the point where it ends up like a sheer cliff. And I brought it right up to the arena boundary because I know for a fact there's going to be a wall placed on the outside. Now you may think this area is complete, but no, there is one more thing we need to add. So when Splash was building the volcano, she made sure to have several different hidden passageways. Well, they're not really hidden, you can access them, and they go to various different slices across the map. We have one right here that I want to make use of. But where are we going to put it? Well, as we all know, when you see a waterfall in a game, you automatically think, oh, let's go and get the hidden treasure behind it. So what we're going to do is we're going to link up that passageway to the back of this waterfall. So I just finished working on that tunnel, so if we come over to the waterfall here, we can access it through this little shaft. I continued the same theme that Splash did with her ones, so you can just walk on through, there's plenty of smoke to obscure lines of sight and different stuff like that. So that means my slice is now complete. This was a lot of fun to do. But before we go, there's something I want to check out real quick. How is this going to look with shaders? Let's turn on these Selders Vibrant shaders and take a look. Oh, this looks great. Oh my god. Wow. Oh, I love the way this thing looks. Oh, just the way the light hits everything. Let's get a different angle for this actually. Oh yes. Yes, I like this. This looks great. Just, oh, hold on. If I land real fast. Oh yeah. That looks wonderful. In fact, there we go. I think that is the thumbnail for this episode. That looks great. I love the differences in light and just, I love what we've done here. This looks fantastic. Next up, let's go over to our iron farm. Alright, so over here at the iron farm, because when we first built this, we never finished this thing. As you can see, that's the storage system. Oh, there you go, the chests have now rendered in. And it's not exactly ideal. It's way too small, and you know what? Since I built this, I haven't actually used this farm whatsoever, so I think it's time we change that. Also, the swamp water over here is horrible to look at, so I might change out this floor for something else in the future. So what I'm thinking is we need to expand this storage system massively. I don't know exactly how big I want it to be, but it's probably going to end up being a similar size to the storage system we have at the Guardian farm. So with that being said, let's jump into another time lapse and get this new system built. And there we go, we now have another massive storage system. It's that big that we can't see the other side of it due to the chests unrendering. Most of this is dedicated to iron, but the bottom 5 lanes are dedicated to poppies. I've identified them by placing some item frames. The rest of this didn't really need item frames because that would just be a silly amount of entities. Populating all those item filters was very annoying. Let's just say I had to run this farm in order to get all the materials I needed just to populate this thing. And not that mobs kept on spawning in this while I was building it, because, well yeah, we don't have any light down here, which isn't exactly great. But yeah, this storage system is now able to be used. I made sure to clear the item transport system so that everything is now hooked up. So the items will travel along these water streams, fall through that hole, onto this block of water, and then they'll go through the storage system. And there we go, there is another completed project. So we've just arrived over at our shops because I've been putting off something for a little while now. While this contraption shop does make a lot of money, it can be hard to work out what the prices of each item are before purchase. Hence why we have a few receipts in this output chest right here, so I think it's time we deal with that in some form. What I think I'm going to do is we're probably going to get a lectern and put it on either side, so there's a space right here and there's a matching space on that side, with a written book inside it detailing the prices for each of these items. And then once that's done, it'll be super easy for the members of the server to work out how things are going to cost. Alright, so we just finished putting these lecterns in, so we have this section for the farms, and then we've got the section over there for the contraptions. I split this up using dash lines so that each price was readable. And then at the end, prices may be subject to change. Now that that's done, there's something else we need to handle. Someone placed an ender chest over here, and this isn't the ideal spot for it, so let's remove that. get the new ender chest there, and then I think we're going to go and place this right here. That looks like a good spot for it. And there we go. And oh, look at that. We need to replace the stone up there with a sea lantern, and fortunately we just got one from this spot. Now, since we're over here, I thought we'd address something else as well. So this area, while yes, we do have a bunch of shops here, it does look quite barren. We've got the shops, we've got some pathways, and then we've just got some plain old grass. And I think we should change that up a little bit. Like, if we compare it to the rest of the shopping district, it is quite similar. There are areas that don't really have any detailing or anything like that, and they look really empty, but if we come on over here to this lake, like this area around this pond is nicely populated, and I want to try and replicate this without the characters because that's a lot of extra work. And not only that, I don't want to take away from this area because it does look really, really cool. So all I'm really thinking for this is we just need to bone meal this area, take out the flowers, maybe put in a few rocks or something like that, and it should make things look a little bit better. So I figured rather than doing this in a time lapse, we'd actually go through this together and I could explain my process. So I've got a bunch of bone meal, some stone and some slabs, as this is way more than we need. It's a bit overkill, but that's fine by me. So what we're going to do is we're just going to start over on this corner and we're going to work our way towards the arena right there. So first of all, we're going to use some bone meal, like so. And look, there's no flowers there, and that's a nice spread of the grass, so we're not going to bother touching that. And we're going to do the same again. So the idea here is if we get any grass, not any grass, any flowers, they will be removed. And not only that as well, we don't want to have this long grass all over the place because it messes with lines of sight and stuff like that. So we place it periodically, like so. And not only that, I think since we are in the shopping district and this is a mushroom island, the flowers might not actually spawn when we use bone meal. So I think that's actually a benefit. So let's just go around and continue doing this every so often. Like so, and look at that. It's different, it could use some work, so it does look a little bit overgrown here, so we'll come back to that. Okay, so let's just continue that. So what we'll probably end up doing is we'll break some of this long grass because it messes with lines of sight a little bit. So we'll do it like so, and then we'll come along here. Let's just run along here super fast. We'll keep the longer grass along the edges here, and then we'll just finish populating this area, like so. So after doing that and taking a step back, I'm not actually a fan of the way this looks. It just doesn't look right, there's just too much going on. So what we need to do is we need to come in here and remove all of this. Now what we need to do for that is we simply need to grab a water bucket, so like so, and then we just place it down and remove all of that grass. Oh well, it was worth a try. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this like it is right now because I think we're going to reapproach this in a future episode. If you've got any ideas of what we should put in this area to liven it up, please let me know in the comments section down below. So I guess the next thing we can do is we can actually go and take a look at our profits because I haven't emptied these shops in quite some time. So I've got a bunch of diamonds in here. This one here we're going to leave because Britt has ordered a 10x10 redstone door and I haven't done it yet. So Britt, I'll be looking at your order in the next episode. So I guess what we can do is we can take all of these other diamonds out. Over in the beacon shop, I know for a fact we've got a bunch of diamonds, so let's see. Yeah, we've got 9 diamonds in this chest. And then we should have, oh boy, that's a lot of diamonds right there. Let's just take all of those. Oh yeah, I like that number. We will come back and refill this later on. And then finally we have the villager shop, which we should have some profits. So we've got some there. We don't have any in these chests, but we should also have some right here. This reminds me though, we actually have an order that we haven't done yet. We need to go and get 3 villagers for Equinox's Am Farm, but we'll be doing that after we go and drop off these diamonds at the Captains of Industry HQ. So over here at the HQ, and once again I must say Rustic, you did a fantastic job with this place. I've already taken a liberty of splitting the diamonds equally into 4 shares, so one for myself, Rustic and Splashes, and then one for the Captains of Industry stockpile. So what we need to do is we need to go and distribute it in the shulkers. So let's see. Here is your share, Rustic. Here's your share, Splashes. And this is my share right here. And then right here is the stockpile. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to craft these into blocks, which we can do right here. We don't have a crafting table, so I'll just use this one. There we go. Break this, and then, yeah, we have a bunch of diamonds there. That's nearly a full stack of diamond blocks. Nice. Oh well, I guess I can now take my stockpile and then put it away with my diamonds. You know what, we now have a decent supply of diamonds again, even though we lost a bunch last time when we did some start poker. Also, we need to make use of these plushies at some point. So we're currently over at Equinox's base, which is right next to my starter area. And what we need to do is this small iron farm here we need to populate with one villager in each of those holding cells. I was meant to do this last episode, but I kind of ran out of time and completely forgot about it, so we're going to be doing it right now. So as you can see, there's already a rail line set up. I do believe this links up to a nether portal around here. Yes, it does. Cool. So yeah, it should be a simple case of us getting some villagers into minecarts, pushing them through this system and up into the iron farm. And since you've seen me do that a million times, I'm just going to go ahead and do it super fast. And there we go, the villagers are all in place, and Equinox, you should be good enough to go and continue work on your farm. So after we wrapped up the iron farm, I decided to restock the beacon shop, so now everything is now fully stocked. So before we wrap up the episode, there's a few things I'd like to talk about real fast. One of those being that, obviously as you know, the 1.17 update has changed a little bit, meaning the mountains are going to be released in winter time, so December. Now, we were heavily relying on the mountains for Season 2 for some of our plans, but we have since changed our minds on certain things. So that means that Season 2 is still going ahead as planned. In fact, in the next week or two, the public applications for Season 2 will be going live. So make sure you keep an eye on the videos for that. I'll make sure to update descriptions with all of the Season 2 links. We're also going to be opening up a dedicated AutoCraft Discord fairly soon as well. It is almost ready. I do need to make a few other changes to it, but once that is done, I'll be able to let you guys join and we can then build a decent little Discord community right there. Another thing I'd like to bring up as well is, obviously this episode came out a lot sooner than the previous one did, so we've done 2 episodes in the space of a couple of days. I want to start doing that a lot more now since I have a bunch of free time. So what I'm planning is 1 week I'll be doing 2 episodes, and then the next week I'll only be doing 1, so that'll be a 2-1 resonance. That means that I'll be able to work ahead a little bit, whilst still being able to produce episodes in quick succession. So we'll end up with maybe around 2 times the amount of episodes per month that we would have had otherwise, if everything goes according to plan. If I've got a bunch of episodes in reserve, I'll then start releasing them a lot faster. But since 1.17 is going to release probably sometime in June, it means that I might have to work a little bit faster than I had originally planned, because we need to get this main base finished, which we will be doing some more work here in the next episode. Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed that, why don't you leave a like and subscribe and hit the bell icon. And hey, why don't you check out this video?